I'm Angela Drummond Matthews. Welcome to week 5 of World Literature 1. I hope you enjoyed reading the precursors to the modern novel last week. This week is a short week. It's the final week of the course. This week we'll do one reading and one paper. The reading we'll do is Shakespeare's Hamlet. The paper we'll do will be a literary analysis, but I would like for you to bring into your analysis examples of the previous readings that relate to the point you have chosen to pursue. We'll talk more about this in a few minutes, but for now, let's talk about Shakespeare's Hamlet. William Shakespeare was born in April around 1564 in Stratford-upon-Avon in England. You've probably read some of his work before, maybe a play or some of the sonnets. Shakespeare wrote during a time called the Renaissance in England. Renaissance means rebirth. What was reborn? Well, the period before the Renaissance was the medieval period. This is from about the fall of Rome around 476 CE and the 14th century CE. You'll recall that some of the readings that we did, like Beowulf, Dante's Inferno, and Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales, among others, were created during this period. Even though there were many great writers, artists, and thinkers of this period, there was less attention paid to the teachings of the ancient Greeks and Romans. After 1400 CE, there was a renewed interest in ancient Greek and Roman writers and philosophers. Not only that, but there was also a growth in scientific knowledge. Scholars at the time began to think the relationship of humanity to the world didn't have to be under the control of the church. Instead, they believed that humans should be free to question and create and learn as much as they can. They looked at humanity as the most important subject of study instead of religious teachings. They wanted to study Greek and Roman texts using reason and evidence. This concept was called humanism. It made learning and reading more popular, and with the development of the printing press, knowledge became more accessible. It was during this time that Shakespeare wrote his plays and sonnets, between 1589 and 1613. His plays are divided into 3 categories: comedies, histories, and tragedies. The play we're reading, Hamlet, is a tragedy. Its full title is The Tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. Hamlet was away at school when he was called home because his father, King Hamlet, had died. When he arrives at the castle, Elsinore, he finds that his mother, Gertrude, has married his uncle Claudius. Now Claudius is king. Hamlet is really depressed because it seems like not only has his father died, but his mother doesn't even care. Then his friend Horatio comes to him and tells him that he and some castle guards saw what they think is Hamlet's father's ghost. Hamlet agrees to go watch at night to see if it really is his father. So they meet late at night, and the ghost comes. It looks just like Hamlet's father, and it says, "I was murdered by my brother Claudius, and you need to avenge me." Hamlet is not sure what to do. He tells Horatio to swear that no matter how strange he may seem to behave, Horatio shouldn't tell anyone what's going on with him. Now Hamlet has a dilemma. Should he really kill the king? Should he take the word of a ghost? And what about his other obligations? And how should he comport himself? And how should he talk to his girlfriend, Ophelia? Ophelia's father is the advisor of the king. Can he be trusted? Can she be trusted? I'll let you read the play and see what happens. Now, this play is pretty long. The language can sometimes be hard to understand. Your book provides good footnotes, so don't skip over those. The next thing to do is to find a movie version to watch while you're reading. I know, we hardly ever tell students to watch movies of the reading, but in this case it works. The reason is that Shakespeare's plays were never meant to be read in books the way we do. They were meant to be seen on the stage. It's much easier to understand the plays when you see them on the stage. Now, not every version of Hamlet is good. Because the play is long, many directors cut parts out. I'm going to give you some links to good movie versions that you should be able to watch for free. Personally, I like the Kenneth Branagh version. It has almost no cuts. You can pretty much read along with the movie. When you write about Hamlet, I want you to come up with a clear thesis that relates to the themes or characters in the play. For example, the dilemma Hamlet faces represents the uncertainty of life in which there are often no good choices. Or, Hamlet, Laertes, and Fortinbras are mirror characters that Shakespeare uses to show that our actions can have consequences that are greater than they first appear. Or, Hamlet's inaction is the flaw in his character that leads to his and others' demise. Or even, very simply, the tragedy of Hamlet shows that revenge never pays. I want you to support your thesis using examples from the play and from secondary sources. But I also want you to at least use 2 sources from our readings over the term to help you make your points. For example, Hamlet is a prince. What would Machiavelli say about his behavior? Would Machiavelli approve of Claudius? Hamlet has the opportunity to be a hero. Is he behaving as one? How does his behavior compare to the heroes like Gilgamesh or Sunjata? Ophelia's father, Polonius, gives her advice about how she should behave in the Danish court. How does that compare to what we learned about the Japanese court in the Tale of Genji? For this essay, you'll have at least 5 sources. Your primary source, Hamlet, at least 2 secondary sources, and at least 2 sources from our readings. Since this is a short week, we won't have oral discussion. However, I will be available for an optional class discussion at noon on Tuesday. The paper itself will be due on Wednesday by 11:59 p.m. I know this is a short time to complete a paper, but I believe you can do it. That's all for now. Please remember that you can email me at any time if you have a question. Happy reading, happy writing, and I hope you enjoyed the class. Bye-bye.